Hello everyone. In today's lecture, we are going to discuss chemical reaction equilibrium. So we will cover chemical equilibrium. That means what is all about chemical equilibrium. We will also discuss what are the different criteria for chemical equilibrium. So before proceeding further, let us discuss why the concept of chemical reaction equilibrium is so important for academic purpose as well as for industrial purpose. So as we all are familiar that a chemical process industry involves the transformation of raw material into finished product. Mostly such transformation from raw material to product is achieved through a chemical reaction. Thus, to design a chemical process equipment and to understand the operation of any process, a chemical engineer should be well versed in the analysis of chemical reactions. So the purpose of study of chemical reaction is the purpose of study of chemical reaction equilibrium is to find the role of thermodynamics in chemical process industries. Or chemical reactions. Now, if we consider any reaction and we look for that reaction from the industrial point of view, then there are certain aspects that we need to take care. So for understanding, just assume a general reaction A is converted into B. Now for this general reaction, which is a reversible reaction, if I want to utilize this reaction in industry, then I need to consider few aspects. Those aspects are, the first is the feasibility. So consider I am concerned with the process A is changing to B. Then whether this reaction from A to B is feasible or not, we have to find out, and the thermodynamics will help. We all know from our 12th level thermodynamics that if the change in Gibbs free energy at constant temperature and pressure is negative, then the process is spontaneous. So the process proceeds toward lower value of Gibbs free energy. So if I want to find out whether the process A to B is feasible or not, then I have to calculate the delta G at a particular temperature and pressure. If it turns out to be negative, then we can conclude that the process A to B is spontaneous. So the first aspect with any chemical reaction is the feasibility. It's not necessary that if you are mixing two reactants, then they will always combine and react. So first and foremost is to find out whether the reaction is feasible or possible or spontaneous or not. Once we know that the reaction is feasible or the process is feasible, then the second aspect that immediately comes in someone's mind is the speed of reaction. Suppose if you have initiated a particular reaction and it's so slow that not your children but your grandchildren are getting the product. So it should not be so slow also. I mean, the reaction must have sufficient speed or appropriate speed so that the process as a whole is economically viable. Now the speed, to find out the speed, we have to look for kinetics. You might be familiar with this also. So the kinetics deals with rate or speed. Of any reaction. So the second aspect, which is speed, can be find out through the kinetic study of that particular process or reaction. Now once we know that okay, they are feasible, the reaction is feasible, they can react and form the product, the speed is also sufficient, then the third important angle or aspect is the yield, because for a process to be economically viable, a reaction must have significant yield, that is equilibrium conversion. So what I mean to say is the reaction should be able to provide a significant conversion. The equilibrium conversion should be significant so that the overall process is economically feasible or viable. So to know the equilibrium conversion, we need to understand the equilibrium, that is chemical equilibrium more precisely. So the chemical equilibrium is required to understand or to find out the yield, which is the amount of product formed. Not the chemical equilibrium will not only provide the equilibrium conversion, but it also gives with the knowledge of chemical equilibrium, we can also optimize the parameter which may affect the equilibrium conversion. So the study of chemical equilibrium is very much necessary to find out the equilibrium conversion as well as the effect of pressure, temperature and other factors on equilibrium conversion. So we all know there is a Le-Chatelier principle So what it is, this Le-Chatelier principle is a qualitative interpretation equilibrium. It's a qualitative equilibrium. So using the Le-Chatelier principle, one can find out the qualitative answer, say the dependency of temperature. If a reaction is favorable at higher temperature, then from the Le-Chatelier principle we can find out higher temperature is favorable for the reaction or lower temperature. But it can't predict the quantitative value of temperature. That means if you want to double the rate of reaction, then how much temperature, numerical value of temperature, cannot be estimated using Le-Chatelier principle. So it's only a qualitative interpretation. So to find out the quantitative interpretation, that means exact numerical value of pressure, temperature, how much exact value of temperature, pressure is required, because industrially just knowing the qualitative interpretation will not suffice. You have to find out the exact value of temperature so that you can operate, or you can properly operate any chemical process. Now we can see that these two factors, that is feasibility or spontaneity and yield, these two factors can be predicted using the thermodynamics. So the thermodynamics will help us to find the feasibility as well as yield or equilibrium conversion. But thermodynamics will not help us to find out the speed, or it will not tell whether the thermodynamic will tell that the reaction is spontaneous in particular direction or not, but it will not help to find out whether a kinetically viable path is available or not. That is how much time it will take, it will not tell. Now apart from these, let me conclude that if we want to apply any reaction for industrial purpose, then the study of thermodynamics is very much essential, because these two important factions out of three, these two important aspects can be understood through the study of thermodynamics. So this chapter is devoted to, that is, chemical reaction equilibrium. So we will focus this on chemical reaction equilibrium. Now let me discuss few points associated with this chemical equilibrium. Now there may be situation when both the kinetics, that is the rate, and the thermodynamics, the equilibrium of the reaction, is in conflict with each other. For example, say oxidation of SO2 into SO3. From our basic knowledge, we know that the conversion of oxidation of sulfur dioxide into sulfur trioxide, the rate is favorable at higher temperature, while the equilibrium conversion is inversely proportional to temperature. That means by increasing the temperature, the oxidation of SO2 to SO3 rate increases, while the equilibrium conversion decreases. So obviously we need to have a trade-off between rate and equilibrium conversion as far as the temperature is concerned. So we need to have an optimum value of temperature, so that the rate and equilibrium conversion both are optimally good. So one thing additionally we need to note it here is, apart from equilibrium conversion, we also need to consider the kinetics for better conversion process. The second aspect, the second point that we should note is, let us take an example. We have a carbon graphite and carbon diamond. So the mu carbon graphite is higher than mu carbon diamond. We know the reaction proceed towards lesser value of mu. So the thermodynamic tendency is the diamond should be converted into graphite. So this is the case like if you are having say you purchase a diamond ring to gift someone, and the moment you are reaching at your home, it has been converted into graphite. Thermodynamically it is like that, but it never happened because of the kinetic barriers. So if we look the molecular arrangement, the molecular structure of carbon graphite and carbon diamond is quite different, and because there are difference in activation energy, so there is a huge kinetic barrier between the two. So because of the huge activation energy, so because of the kinetic factors, we must consider kinetic along with the thermodynamics, whether a kinetically feasible path is existing or not. So the chemical potential is a very, very important parameter. It is central to chemistry. We have already learned the chemical potential is central to chemistry. So we will see in the subsequent lectures that we can establish many relations using chemical potential and also the Gibbs free energy, and we will utilize these two parameters to understand the chemical equilibrium. We will develop different relations using mu and g. Now this is something about the chemical equilibrium. Now let us discuss the criteria of chemical equilibrium. So we will discuss two criteria. The first one is based on the entropy. Now these criteria would be developed using conservation of energy and second law of thermodynamics. Now consider a simple compressible system of fixed mass for which T and P, that is temperature and pressure, are uniform with position throughout. So mind it, temperature and pressure are uniform throughout So in the absence of overall system motion and ignoring the influence of gravity, the energy balance from the first law of thermodynamics, we all know du equals to dq minus dw. We also know from the second law, ds, the definition of entropy, ds is dq upon t. From here, we can have dq, by rearranging, dq equals to du plus dw. Now, considering the pressure volume work, this is du plus pdv. For all actual process, entropy is produced. I repeat, since for all actual process, entropy is produced and conserved only in the absence of irreversibility. So the entropy will be conserved only when there is no irreversibility. So for any real process, the entropy must increase. So from this, we can say T ds is greater than or equal to dq upon t, that is ds minus dq, t ds minus dq greater than or equal to 0, or putting the value of dq from here t ds minus du plus pdv is greater than or equal to 0. Or TdS minus du minus pdv is greater than or equal to 0. So this particular equation is very much important. Now let us see the interpretation of this reaction, this equation. For a process taking place in insulated constant volume vessel where du is 0 and dv is 0, that is constant volume process, must be such that the ds from here, this is going to be 0 and this is 0, so the TdS is greater than or equals to 0, temperature cannot be 0, so this ds obviously at constant u and v is greater than or equal to 0. So we can see from here this particular equation, it suggests that change of state of a closed system at constant internal energy, this, and constant volume can occur only in the direction of increase in entropy. So the entropy will increase. Now let us understand this with the help of graph. Say this is entropy. So at fixed T and V, this is the point of S maximum entropy. So the process will moves toward maximum entropy. So this equation also suggests that, also implies that entropy approaches a maximum as a state of equilibrium is achieved. Now the second criteria is based on the Gibbs free energy. Now, as we all know, an important case for the study of chemical and phase equilibria is one in which temperature and pressure are fixed. So in the most of the important processes in chemical equilibria and phase equilibria, the temperature and pressure are fixed. For this, it is convenient to imply the Gibbs function in extensive form. Now, this is the second criteria of spontaneity based on the Gibbs free energy. So we all know this Gibbs energy is H minus Ts, that is U plus Pv minus Ts expanding H. Now differentiating, we will get du plus Pdv plus Vdp minus Tds minus Sdt. So by rearranging, we will get dg minus Vdp plus Sdt. This is equals to minus Tds minus du minus Pdv. So from our earlier discussion, from here we can see this is greater than equals to 0. So just utilizing this equation, we can say this is, because of minus sign, less than or equal to 0, or dg minus Vdp plus S dt is less than or equals to 0. So this is again another important relation. Now for the process taking place at constant P and T, for constant temperature and pressure process, you can see dP and dt will go out. So dg at constant temperature and pressure 0. That is the very popular criteria of chemical equilibrium. This inequality indicates that the Gibbs function of an system at fixed temperature and pressure decreases during an irreversible process, because for reversible it is 0. The equilibrium state is the one having the minimum value of the Gibbs function. So therefore we have the equilibrium. So at equilibrium, change in Gibbs free energy, that is total Gibbs free energy, of course, is equals to 0. So that is the another criteria of chemical equilibrium, that is the change in Gibbs free energy at fixed temperature and pressure is equals to 0. Now if we look into the variation of Gibbs free energy. So let's say something in this. So at fixed pressure and temperature, this is the Z minimum. Now the reaction will move toward the minimum value of Gibbs free energy. So this equation provides, please note that this equation provides a relationship among the properties of a system when it is at an equilibrium state. So this equation is also used as a criteria of chemical equilibrium. This equation as well as this entropy equation, that is this one, ds u into v at constant internal energy and volume is 0. So these two criteria we have discussed. So this is the major one in terms of Gibbs free energy because it is widely used. These two are the criteria of chemical equilibrium. Now please note that the manner in which the equilibrium state is reached is unimportant. It's hardly matter how the equilibrium has been achieved. However, for once an equilibrium state is obtained, a system exists at a particular temperature and pressure and no further spontaneous changes can take place. So to sum up, what we have learned is in today's class is that we have understood the chemical equilibrium. What is the chemical equilibrium mean? As well as we have also seen some criteria of chemical equilibrium. So we have learned the thermodynamics will tell us the direction of spontaneous process, but it will not tell us about the kinetic pathway available or not. For the chemical, we have also learned that the Gibbs free energy can be used as well as the entropy can be used for the criteria of chemical equilibrium. We will proceed further and learn some more concepts related to the chemical equilibrium. For now, we stop it here. Thank you so much.